In this video, you're going to learn how to calculate the pH and pOH of acids and bases. So far, we've discussed the pH values of several different substances, whether they're acid or a base, and now we're going to learn how to calculate the pH and pOH. So when we look at calculating pH first, we use the following formula. So it's pH equals the negative log of the hydrogen ion concentration. Here's an example of calculating the pH when we have a hydrogen ion concentration of 1 times 10 to the negative fifth. So here it is. We plug it into our formula of pH equals the negative log of the hydrogen ion concentration. So we have pH equals negative log of -5, so the pH is 5. So it's pretty easy to calculate the pH when you have 1 times 10 to a number. It's always going to be whatever the exponent is. So in this case it's 5. So let's work a problem where the hydrogen ion concentration is not 1 times 10 to a whole number. So let's say 1.4 times 10 to the negative 5. Alright, so now we can plug the same hydrogen ion concentration into the same formula. So pH is equal to negative log of 1.4 times 10 to the negative fifth. Alright, so when you plug all that into your calculator, you end up with a pH of 4.85. Should be a decimal there. So you're going to need to practice with your calculators to make sure that you're using the log function correctly so that you come up with the correct pH. And your teacher can help you with this. Calculating pOH is pretty much the same as calculating pH, except for instead of the hydrogen ion concentration, you're going to be using the hydroxide concentration. So you can see it's pretty much the same equation. So here we have an example of calculating pOH. So this time we have a concentration, the hydroxide ion concentration of 1 times 10 to the negative ninth. So when we plug it into our formula right here, and we end up with a pOH of 9. Alright, so it's the same exact mathematical steps that you would use to calculate pH, except for you're just using OH instead. So we can also calculate the hydrogen ion concentration or the hydroxide ion concentration if we know the pH or the pOH. So if you look at this one here, it should read, my PowerPoint is not all that great, it should be like 10 to the negative pH, like that. So when you plug in your calculator, the pH is an exponent. Alright, and the same thing for the hydroxide ion. It should be 10 to the negative pOH. I'll work an example problem for that in just a minute. I wanted to tell you guys, this isn't very handy. If we want to know the pH, and we already know the pOH, all we do is subtract 14 minus the pOH gives us pH. So this is a shortcut. Alright, so on the previous slide we discussed how we could calculate the hydrogen ion concentration if we know the pH. So let's work an example problem. So if I have a pH equal to 8.5 and I want to figure out the hydrogen ion concentration, then I'm going to use this formula. So it's hydrogen ion concentration equals 10 to the negative 8.5. So when I plug this into my calculator and solve, I end up with 3.2 times 10 to the negative ninth and that's molar. So there's my hydrogen ion concentration. So I'm sure your teacher will give you plenty of things to practice.